Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control in me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll put it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back.
Welcome to ArchRivals Football. Here is your starting lineup. Number 20, Darnell the Playmaker Sallins. Number 94, Alex the Bearman Alcazaz. Number 24, Ricky Litwinkowicz. This show is sponsored by Raz Energy, DreamControllers.com, and Steiner Sports. ArchRivals Football is a Pain Train Pipe Bomb production. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of ArchRivals Football. I am your host, Ricky Litwinkowicz. We got Darnell, the Playmaker, who just legitimately walked in the door. D, what's up?
What's good? What's good? Alex, what's going on, my brother?
How you doing, D?
I'm good. What's going on, Jamal? Good to see you again.
Good to see you, brother.
So the team is growing bigger and better than we kind of expected. Alex, I am very, very happy that you are on the show today, by the way.
Thank you for having me.
Because it's only been since February that we've been able to do anything.
We haven't spoken since
February.
Well, I'm saying we looked at since Thursday. Yeah, February.
Yeah. It's been a while. So
Thank you.
we're gonna kind of kick the show off. We got Steven Wallman in the chat. We got Kenny Kirpatrick in there. Kenny is gonna be popping in soon. He's on his way home from a birthday party.
Yeah. Hey, Alex, give the people that's a small taste of what you do, because you do a lot of different things, man.
You sure?
I mean, we talking football, so let's give them a little insight on what you do. That way they know where you coming from.
Okay. Started out with Fantasy and Flavors, radio podcast. You always got to bet on yourself. I write for the Florida Sun, Central Florida's oldest black living newspaper. I've written and report for the St. Louis Fan Report, a football world, and SPN, my brand new broadcast company that started in Champa Bay. Yeah, I said it, Champa Bay. We're going to have Champa Bay TV on a Roku stick. And published in Sports Illustrated, Yahoo Sports, a couple of other families, ESPN PR, and a couple of my takes have been on ESPN First Take. I've covered the 2020 Pro Bowl, 2020 NFL Combine, the Super Bowl 55 with the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Bucks, and I just got back from the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Met Warren Moon, and I write almost every week. Football season's here, so don't take me for a joke.
That's a little BDE right there. I'll keep it PG for the show, but y'all know what that BDE is. I'm ready. I'm excited.
All right, so first topic for the show today. Obviously, I woke up to this at sometime in the middle of the morning. And I'll start off with Alex on this because he does cover the Jags. That trade of Gardner Minshew to the Eagles for a 6th-round conditional pick.
They were setting Gardner Minshew free. It was a real quarterback competition. Minshew looked great in training camp, in practice, and in the offseason, and in preseason games. Trevor Lawrence had the position unlocked, and Gardner Minshew gave his best. Everybody down in Jacksonville has respect for Gardner. Hell, I even like the guy. But Billy Ray had the lead because you don't want a quarterback controversy, especially for a rookie, to shake his confidence. This is Trevor Lawrence's team. So now you got Billy Ray Cyrus backing up Jalen Hurts because Flacco is washed. And I'm happy for him because Philly's going to embrace him.
All right, Jamal, go ahead.
So when I first saw this trade, and I know, and it's good that Alex said that because I'm sure there are a lot of fans who were on that Trevor Lawrence sunshine bandwagon. And the moment I saw this trade, I said, damn, Jacksonville done messed up. This was an awful thing for them to do because at best, rookie quarterbacks, specifically number one rookie quarterbacks, are less than 50% to be successful. It typically doesn't work out. I know a lot of times these drafts come up, happens in the NBA every year, definitely happens in the NFL. We get these first round picks and they try to make these comparisons like everybody's going to be good. And more than half the time, a lot of them suck. So, you know, we could say what we want about Trevor Lawrence and what he did in college, but what he did in college doesn't matter. What you've just done for nothing is give up a backup plan. For the kiddies at home, people like Gardner Minshew has had some long, illustrious Nick Foles type career. He's 25 years old, folks. Okay. In his 2 seasons with the Jags, 62, almost 63% completion percentage, 37 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. The team was bad, and that's why it looked like, you know, he was struggling a little bit if you're just watching the game and looking at the box score. Gardner Minshew, it just needs time, like many other quarterbacks. And I have a saying on stuff about sports. This is why when everybody was on the Lamar Jackson bandwagon in year 1 and 2, I said, nah. You have to give guys 3 years of a real chance before you figure out who they are. Minshew didn't get that, especially with the team like the Jags who switched coaches, had a bunch of other issues going on. And so when I saw the trade, I said, wow, this is going to end bad for Jacksonville. Mark it.
Let me throw this question out here because he's going to Philly. As of right now, I believe Jalen Hurts is the start over there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a short lease for Jalen Hurts?
Absolutely.
For me, yeah, and I think for me, what it says is they don't believe in Jalen Hurts all the way. That's what that says, based on what I said about Gardner Minshew.
I don't think they agree about it, though. Jalen Hurts. I got to see Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert go at it at the 2020 Combine in Indianapolis. They were the best 2 quarterbacks on that turf. Jalen's not threatened by Gardner Minshew. I think there's just a solid backup plan because Flacco was lost.
Gotcha. All right.
I like Gardner Minshew. I do think his personality will be embraced by Philly hardcore if they give him the space to do it. If the moment, and everybody knows the backup's the most popular guy on the team, let Jalen Hurts mess up a few games. God forbid, let him get injured, and Gardner Minshew goes in there and starts playing well. You're going to see these situations where he wins a game or two. Even if they lose, if he looks good, there's going to be that for Jalen Hurts. And don't be surprised if Gardner Minshew comes out on top of that little quarterback controversy, if it comes to that.
Well, I agree with you, sir. It has to be an injury. But heaven forbid Jalen Hurts gets injured and Gardner goes on a tear. And when he comes back, he's coaching them up almost more than the new damn coach. The bum that showed up, not shaved in his pajamas. Jalen is the unquestioned leader of this Philadelphia Eagles squad, and they're going to surprise some people. Everybody's expecting them to be pathetic. They still have Zach Ertz, even though Dallas Goedert's supposed to be the starter. Their number 2 wide receivers are solid number 2s. They just picked up Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. And last time I checked, Travis Fulgham is about 6'5" and can blow the top off the defense. they're not going to the playoff. They're going to shock some people.
Yeah, I can see it. I just being from that area, like the Eagles, especially in that division, man. It's always something that gets them. It's always something. They're going to start off decent and then they'll fall off. That's how it works. They either start off hot and then they just fall off the face of the earth, or they fall off the face of the earth and then they get hot at a stretch and then it gives people hope for the next year. And it always seems to happen to Philly and most of the NFC East teams, to be honest.
Well, there's no better way to start against Atlanta. I mean, that's a W right there.
Yeah, for sure. Atlanta messed up, man. The moment they got rid of Julio Jones, they should have got rid of Matt Ryan and start that thing all over. 100%.
I like that guy. I like Darnell. What have I been preaching? If you're gonna trade Julio, get rid of Ryan.
They got rid of Julio and they kept Matt Ryan. So
you know what it is? Matt Ryan is not a Hall of Famer, even though he'll probably get in and people will champion that. But when you look at his stats and you watch the games, a lot of those gaudy statistics come in garbage time because his team's always losing. And they've been mediocre for so long. This is what happens when you get stuck in the world of mediocrity. You start pretending things that are just okay or just good are great. Atlanta hasn't had anything. Matt Ryan is the closest thing to steady quarterback play they've had in a long time. So what happens is it gets overvalued and it gets overrated. And Matt Ryan at the top of the Hall of Very Good. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. It's okay to be really, really good. But like Matt Ryan in Detroit can be really, really good, but you can't have 12 seasons and only make the playoffs 3 times. There's no way. I'm not putting you in that elite class.
Hey, guys, I got a funny stat that I drew. You want to know how many touchdown passes Matt Ryan's thrown?
How many?
283.
283. How many of those were in garbage time?
283.
Hold on, how long has he been in the league?
Y'all didn't catch 283.
Oh, 28,
Yeah,
28-3.
Back down.
Yeah, 28-3. Yeah. And, well, that's another reason why he ain't getting in the Hall of Fame to me. You can't lose a 28-3 game, bro, not in the Super Bowl. But, I do give credence to, like, Alex Smith, for example, who gets a lot of shit. He put up 56 points in that AFC title game. His defense gave it all up. You know what I mean? It's not like – so I do understand that a lot of it's not the quarterback's fault, but people don't praise Alex Smith, even though they should, as much as they do Matt Ryan. And so, like, when you're going to get elevated to that, it's up to, like, intelligent people who actually watch the games like us to, like, put people in their place. And that's what I try to do all the time. Matt Ryan is not a Hall of Famer. And the same people that fight to keep Phillip Rivers in the Hall of Fame are the same idiots that go out and try to get Eli Manning out of the Hall of Fame. The logic is backwards. And I'd rather have Eli Manning than Phillip Rivers or Matt Ryan at any point.
Okay. Sticking with the quarterbacks, let's switch over to this situation that Jameis Winston was named the starter. We seen how he played on Monday night against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do you feel Jameis Winston is the quarterback that Sean Payton needs to replace Drew Brees?
No. Okay. I have a joke on Stuff About Sports called the Andy Dalton virus. Jameis Winston has it. Okay. It's when you know you're not good, your eyes are telling you this guy is not the guy. And the moment you get ready to give up on this dude, he'll give you a game like he gave you in that preseason game. And then you'll start saying, oh, yeah, he's not that bad. This Andy Dalton guy, not that awful. No, he's awful. Jameis Winston is a loser, okay? We spent so much time arguing between Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston who's going to be next, and they were both garbage because this is what happens, like I said earlier, when you crown these guys too early. My biggest gripe, my biggest person that I fight over is Cam Newton. He's a good example of this. Cam Newton has one MVP season in 2015 and then 9 other seasons of 7 and 9. So do you know what that MVP season's called? It's called a fluke. Okay, it's called an outlier, and you don't make rules out of outliers, as my granddaddy always said. Okay, Cam Newton Jameis Winston falls into that category because what happens is you get enamored with shiny things, right? You get enamored with the deep passes and the 4,000-yard seasons on bad teams where you have to throw the ball a lot. And it makes people think that as a quarterback, hey, he can throw for 4,000 yards. Well, yeah, when the defense doesn't give a shit what you do because they're up by 3 scores, yeah, you're going to throw for 300 yards a game because the defense doesn't care and they're sagging off your receivers. So when it comes to Jameis Winston, we know he's not the guy. You know why? Because Sean Payton has tried to force feed Taysom Hill down our throats, even when Drew Brees was there. It's just Taysom Hill can't throw the ball like Jameis Winston, so here we go. Jameis Winston's a starter just so Taysom Hill can take over that job. Week 8, Taysom Hill will take over that job in New Orleans. Book it.
Hey, you got that, Rick? He said week 8, Taysom Hill takes over the Saints quarterback job.
I couldn't disagree more.
Okay.
Considering that I do live in Florida and that I campaigned for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go after Jameis Winston, and considering that I saw half his games in person because I was a season ticket holder, and seeing the dynamic of what they did for Brady and didn't do for Jameis, I'm going to have to break it down.
Okay, please.
Quarterbacks that has thrown for 5,000 yards. He's one of them. 5,109 yards. Yeah, 30 for 30, 33 touchdowns, 30 and 50. Talk to his teammate, Chris Godwin, former teammate. And they'll tell you half of it that it wasn't his fault. Plus, he was under Bruce Arians' system for 1 year, in which Carson Palmer and Peyton Manning struggled in their first year under that dichotomy. Number 2, this man's a confident worker. He might seem funny. He might seem a bit of a joker because he damn sure does look stupid. But nobody's going to outwork him. He worked on his footwork. He has an excellent deep ball. Did you see him hit Callaway not once but twice and didn't take a 5-step drop, just a 3? Yeah, that's because he got a cannon of an arm. He's on the same trajectory as Peyton Manning. You and I both know there's a difference between him and Peyton Manning. You and I both know there's a difference. And I'm not talking about the same numbers. There's a major difference between him and Peyton Manning. But ironically, they hit the same interception total through the first 5 years of their career. As a matter of fact, Peyton has more. But nobody's going to mention that because he's Peyton Manning. He's a good old boy from Tennessee that everybody loves. He has LASIK surgery now. He has zip on the ball. He's not a threat to the Tampa Bay Bucks, but he's the reason why the Saints aren't going to fall off in Brees. There was no quarterback. Taysom Hill is not a quarterback. Taysom Hill is not a quarterback. Let me say it a third time. Fans, your viewers, and everybody else here can hear it. Taysom Hill is not a quarterback. It was a joke of a competition. Now, you can have Taysom Hill, who has less completions than Jameis Winston has touchdown passes. This was not a competition. Jameis is going to be the reason why they have above 500 this year for the Saints.
Okay, Alex, what's one thing that you think Sean Payton will bring to the table that Jameis Winston didn't have when he was in Tampa?
Stability. Jameis Winston had at least 4 different coaches. He went from Lovie Smith to Dirk Sutter to Bruce Arians, and different offensive coordinators, under different systems, under different styles. Peyton is Peyton. And I don't want to call Peyton the quarterback whisperer because then you're going to have 8 fans saying, well, you have your own Bucks fans saying he's a quarterback whisperer. He found Tony Romo from Eastern Illinois. He worked with Drew Brees before he got with Sean Payton. San Diego Chargers had LaDainian Thomas, couldn't win a playoff game. Now, under Sean Payton, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5,000-yard seasons, 1 Super Bowl trophy. I mean, hey, the proof is in the pudding. And all James needs to do is limit his turnovers. People talk trash about James because they either don't like him or they don't believe him. James cuts his turnovers in half. He's a top 5 quarterback.
I like it.
Top 5 quarterback in the NFC South, not in the NFL.
In NFL. Okay, let's do the dichotomy of the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, MVP, 48 touchdowns. Tom Brady, NFC as well, 40 touchdowns. Drew fell off. I'm trying to think of NSC quarterbacks. Oh, Russell, 37 touchdowns. Nobody had the yardage that Winston had his last year as a starter. If he cut his interceptions in half, let's say he had 33 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Well, now that's Philip Rivers. That's Drew Lock, punk ass that's no longer playing. That's a couple of quarterbacks I could just name off the top. And that's a better season than anything the Jags had.
Well,
NFC, he would be quite successful if he cut his
and I'm glad you said that, because that's my rebuttal to you. There is no amount of coaching, especially in year 6, because I would love somebody to find me the list of quarterbacks who all of a sudden became a different person in year 6 and 7 of their careers. It typically doesn't happen, and if it does happen for Jameis Winston, he would be an outlier. You can't outcoach bad decisions, huh?
Doug Williams, Jim Plunkett. Doug Williams was originally a Buccaneer, had no love down here with a whole bunch of racists. Left, went to Washington, became the first black quarterback to win 2. Jim Plunkett, career was over. Went to the Raiders under Tom Flores. Mr. Flores, how you doing, sir? Completely rejuvenated his career. You got to think about a lot of quarterbacks who won in their 6th, 7th, and 8th year, like Drew.
So you're putting so what you're doing is you're putting Jameis Winston in the Drew category in terms of talent, because guys can, like, so Aaron Rodgers, right? Only with 1 Super Bowl. Does that take away from how great he is? Is he not the greatest we've ever seen on the field with our eyes? The answer is yes. So accomplishments don't matter. You know, Jameis, you're telling me that he's had all these yards. How many of them were in playoff games? How many of those yards helped this team get to the NFC playoffs, or helped the Bucs win a division title? How many of those were in the Super Bowl? So like, let's take these younger guys. Josh Allen, my guy from the Buffalo Bills, doubling his production every year, wanting to get better, actively getting better, right? Lamar Jackson, MVP already. Now, we're going to find out this year if that was a fluke, because he's been on the decline, right? Justin Herbert, a lot of these guys are stepping it up. And Jameis Winston has either stayed the same or regressed in some areas. He's too sporadic. He's too like, hey, he had 30 interceptions. All right, cool. He dropped it down to 15, dropped it down to 11. But there's still too many untimely bad decisions, and that's a mental issue. I don't know what coaching is going to do to help that.
Well,
okay. Because let me bring a different quarterback in here, because we talked about a quarterback who puts up numbers in garbage time, right? Let's go over to a quarterback who's injured, and we're gonna see. Matter of fact, this team is going to Temple September 9th to open up the season. I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott.
Go ahead, Alex. I'll let you go first, man. I've been talking too much.
Dallas is receiving a handwritten ass whipping September 9th. I don't give a damn if they got Jerry Rice in uniform. They're taking an L. Dak needs to be careful. I've said this months ago. I'm going to say this again. If Dak mess around, try to be funny, he's not making it out of running games and going 2 feet. That defense is thirsty. That defense is hungry, and they're tired of hitting each other. And you're not seeing the first stringers in any of these preseason games. There's a reason for that.
So, Alex, let me ask you this.
How the defense feels.
Let me ask you this. By him not playing in preseason, knowing he's been out for so long, is that going to be a problem for him going up against this Bucs defense that's one of the top 5 defense in the league?
Dak shouldn't play week 1. How about that? That's how I feel. Because if Dak plays week 1 and he tries to be a hero, he's going to get hurt.
Okay, Jamal, what you think?
I think they're the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are always going to cowboy at some point. It don't matter if he starts week 1 or week 8. The Cowboys are never going to be anything as long as Jerry Jones is in charge, because the older he gets, the more desperate he gets, and the more dumb things he does. You do not pay skill players. I don't care who they are. It never works out. What did Jerry Jones do? He paid all 3 of his skill players. He paid Amari. Then he played Zeke, and then he messed around and didn't. The only skill player, and so what happens is you give them their money. They can't put anything around Dak. Dak goes out and gets hurt on some freak accident. Now you owe Dak, and then you overpay him because he hasn't really shown you anything. And now they're in a mess. They're tied to 3 guys. They can't build a proper team around them. And so they'll get stuck in 8-8 purgatory, still not being able to build a team through the draft. And the Cowboys are just going to cowboy, man. Go ahead. I mean, as far as that's what it is. Jerry got to go. The Cowboys will get better once Zeke and Amari and Dak are no longer part of the team.
Okay.
Well,
Because they'll be forced to start over.
Dak's
Okay.
not going anywhere because he's under contract and they don't have a better option. It's going to cost Jerry too much money to get somebody else. Zeke, I agree with you. He's not looking the same, and he's doing a little bit of suspect tactics, tapping guys on the butt, and then licking the clips. I don't know about that. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. But the biggest problem with Dallas, besides the owner, is their defense. They can't stop a nosebleed, bro. And you're going to Ravens. Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones. Never mind the dynamic duo like Evan Johnson. You got Antonio Brown at number 3. Stop and think about that. You may not like Antonio Brown. You don't have to respect Antonio Brown. But if Antonio Brown is your number 3 and your defense is trash,
Okay.
cool. Lucky to fix it out.
All right, cool. We always got to talk quarterbacks because we like to say it's a quarterback league. But let's get into some other news that happened this week. And Ricky, I know you're not really feeling all that good, but I need your take on this because we made a deal. Patriots traded Sony Michel for a 4th-round pick in 2013 and a 6th-round pick for this upcoming draft. Starting off with Jamal, how you feel about Sony Michel being added to the Los Angeles Rams?
Good for the Los Angeles Rams. They're going to need all the help they can get. I think with Matt Ryan there, having Matt Ryan's not you. Matthew Stafford. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. We were talking about Matt Ryan. One of the the other overrated Matthew, who's somehow highly touted and hasn't done anything in the NFL. So he's never had a decent running game in Detroit. So it'll be interesting to see how he acclimates to having a pass catching running back that can bail him out in these situations, because historically he hasn't really had that in Detroit. So I think that's a move that helps him, because I do think Sony Michel has some talent.
Thanks, Ricky. Thanks, fellas. Hope everyone's doing well. And
welcome.
Safe wherever you guys are.
All right, let's continue our conversation. Alex, how you feel about Sony Michel being Los Angeles Rams?
Another camp body. That's Darrell Henderson's position. Sony Michel is better toting the rock than he ever was catching the football. Look at the numbers. He can't really be relied like that. I think it's an excellent pickup. I think it's an excellent pickup for the Rams. I do. But on that same token, that's not the reason why people fear the Rams. It's their defense. And you were absolutely right. Matthew Stafford never had a steady running game. Well, now between Darrell Henderson, Jake Funk, and others, he does. Hey, guys, you knew my time was limited. I got to roll.
All right, brother.
Appreciate how you on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Kenny, I'll pose the same question to you. Sony Michel becoming a Los Angeles Rams.
I think it was a great move for the Rams. I think Sony Michel not that he wasn't getting a fair shake. Always liked the guy in college, and he had a good career, for a couple of years there in New England. And a better way to rejuvenate his career with LA, who's having running back issues with Henderson and Cam Akers out, obviously, and Henderson banged up. So I think it was a great move for the Rams, and I think Sony Michel's going to have a nice little bounce back year down there in LA.
All right.
You in a submarine, bro?
That would be I don't know where that's coming from. Darnell,
You
is
sure
that
that's
you?
coming? No, it's not coming from me. It gotta be coming from you.
I don't know about that part. No, but I think that Belichick kind of he kind of took care of business with that trade.
Okay.
Sony Michel, Darrell Henderson better be careful. I know injuries. You can't really blame a player for injuries, but I think I disagree with Alex when he was with us. I think having Michel on that team will affect him more than Alex was saying. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to say that he's going to take over the job, but these split back situations tend to lean one way, and I think Michel offers more than Henderson does. I think he's just more versatile.
Gotcha. Okay.
I agree with Jeremy. I was just gonna have one quick thing. Henderson didn't take the job away from Akers. It was Akers' job at the beginning of the year, and then he got hurt. So I agree. Darrell Henderson better watch out a little bit over there in LA.
I'm gonna be honest with you. We really don't have a starting running back.
So you're a Rams fan?
Henderson started last year, then Akers got the start because Henderson got hurt. Then Akers got hurt, and Henderson got the job back. It's been a back and forth thing. So we really don't have a starting running back. We just have 3 caliber running backs that can start.
Yeah, and McVay's system doesn't seem predicated too much on the run, so I think you can do the running back by committee thing up there in LA. So
this has been the question that's been asked a lot in sports media. I'm pretty sure y'all heard it come about it. I'm gonna get y'all opinion on it. This is a make it or break. It's the most pressure out of all the clubs. It's the most pressure on Matthew Stafford because he's with the Los Angeles Rams.
Kenny, I'll let you go first, brother. I got to think about this.
I don't think the pressure's on him immediately. Of course, he's coming from Detroit, where Detroit hasn't done anything. If he was coming from a team like maybe Green Bay, where they were in the playoffs every year, then maybe there would be a lot of pressure on him. I think after year one, I think you give him a year, but next year, I think the pressure will start building on him if he doesn't produce over there in LA. Now, that being said, though, guys, they can't be a 5-6 win team this year. If they make it to the wild card, I say that's a success. If they make it as the division winner in the toughest division, in my opinion, that's bonus. And then you build on it for the next couple of years going forward.
Thank you, Kenny, for allowing me the time to think about this. And I think there's no way in hell that Matthew Stafford has the most pressure on him. Immediately comes to mind Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, guys like that, whose teams, Jimmy Garoppolo, teams who, other than quarterback play, seem pretty legit to make a move or make a run at something. And it's the quarterback position that's holding them back. Matt Stafford in year one in LA is probably going to get a little bit of buffer outside of a disastrous, as Kenny said, 4, 5, 6 win, especially with the extra game. I mean, that looks even worse now. So I would think Daniel Jones is, based on geography, probably would be under a little bit more pressure. Certainly a guy like Kirk Cousins, who Minnesota invested a lot in and really hasn't gotten the return on that investment. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, simply because he was so highly touted off those 3 games in New England, and now Trey Lance looks awesome. I think those guys would be under more pressure.
Ricky has heard me say this. It's Super Bowl or bust. And it just so happened to be Matthew Stafford is my quarterback. So for me, the pressure's on Matthew Stafford. Because we watched Tampa Bay make history, right?
Right.
Guess what the Super Bowl's being played at?
In LA, right? This is
It's going to be played at SoFi Stadium. Jamal, you said it earlier. Alex said it earlier. Rams got one of the top defenses in the league, right?
Yeah.
Led by Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey.
My apologies about that, guys. I had to come back.
Right,
oh,
cool.
you good? You good? Could you mute it, because we can hear that music really loud? It's drowning them. Thank you.
So now you have Matthew Stafford. We're gonna find out. And Kenny, I kind of agree with you. Year one, he has some room, but you came from Detroit. You came from a losing environment. Now you had a team who's been to the playoffs, who's been to the Super Bowl, who has won this division multiple times under Sean McVay. And now the Super Bowl is in your backyard. Best believe at some point in time this season, the pressure is going to get ramped up on Matthew Stafford because you have the defense, you have the receiving core. Even though a lot of people don't want to really talk about the receiving core, that's one hell of a receiving core we got. We're Robert Wood, Cooper Kupp. You add the
Van Jefferson.
You still got Van Jefferson, who I believe who will make a leap in this year. You drafted two Atwell, who gonna be most likely like another Deshaun Jackson, and we know what the defense is about. We already know what the defense is about.
I'm actually a big fan of Jacob Harris. People are sleeping on Jacob Harris, and Tyler Higbee's at the number 1 tight end spot.
Yeah, I like Tyler Higbee.
Jacob Harris can go. Jacob Harris from USC. I like him. I watched him from UCF. I watched him. He's a fast tight end. But what I'm saying, Matthew Stafford has to prove that the same numbers he did in Detroit, he can at least do with Los Angeles. Because he's going to equate to a lot more wins for him. He can't have a slump season.
Yes, sir.
The question was, is Matthew Stafford the quarterback on the hottest seat this season?
Absolutely not. Quarterback on the hot seat is Tua Tagovailoa.
Ooh. You think so?
Tua.
Well,
More than like Kirk Cousins and Daniel Jones and Jimmy Garoppolo?
Sorry for this one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Kirk Cousins, Mr. Mediocrity. All he has to do is have a winning record. He's already getting paid.
Right.
All right. Real talk. Matthew Stafford's not on the hot seat. They're solid. They're legit. They're going to make the playoffs. They might even win the division. Kirk Cousins, please. Nobody's worried about Kirk Cousins. Nobody's worried about the NFC North. It doesn't have to deal with Green Bay. AFC East. The Sith Lord died. Buffalo took over, and Miami got better. Miami can't touch Buffalo. Cam Newton now has his defense back, 2 tight ends, and a hell of a running game. Pick up Ramondre Stevenson, by the way. I think he's going to be the starter by week 7, week 8. He's the real one you want, not Damian Harris. I digress. Miami, making moves left and right, has an up and down roster ready to compete. The one thing they're missing? Quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa is the man there in Miami. They traded away Fitzpatrick. He's now a starter in Washington. They picked up Jacoby Brissett from the Indianapolis Colts. You don't think they're missing him right now? This is Tua's show. If Tua doesn't produce, look for there to be a Deshaun Watson trade. The person on the hot seat is Tua Tagovailoa.
Deshaun Watson, the biggest question in the NFL right now.
I just read that there's actually a lot of teams that are interested in Deshaun Watson. The problem is they want pick protection, and because you don't really know what's happening with his situation, which I think is a fair ask, but I don't know how many teams are willing to kind of gamble with that.
Okay,
I agree with Alex 100% with Tua, but I'm going to throw as a Giants fan in there Daniel Jones.
Yeah, for sure.
He hasn't played at all this preseason. He's got an offense that they built around him. Barkley's hurt, okay, but you know what? You got Kenny Golladay there now. You got Sterling Shepard. You got Darius Slayton. It's put up or shut up now. Offensive numbers. It's time to lead your team at least to a wild card or a division in the NFC East, which is probably one of the weakest divisions in football. And I could see the Giants winning 9-10 games on a good year, or as bad as 4 or 5 wins on a bad year this year.
Kenny,
they were hurt. They were banged up last year.
Kenny, you may think I'm crazy, but I actually have the Giants winning the NFC East this year.
I do too. Dead ass. I'm dead serious.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I love their secondary. I actually know Darnell Holmes and Christian Angulo. I know they got the best secondary. They're stocked up at wide receiver and running back. Daniel Jones and I share a birthday. And if you know anything about Geminis, you doubt them, that's when you get the best of them.
Well, my partner on Stuff About Sports, Bert, is a huge Giants fan, and we actually had this discussion, and I said, I'm going to shoot Daniel Jones a little bit of bail. Your best player in Saquon Barkley goes down. Your defense goes to shit. What do you do this offseason? You bring in Leonard Williams, and you bring in I can't remember who the cornerback they brought in, but they brought in somebody in the secondary, and they went in and drafted some guys.
Jerm, I think it's Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson. Thank you.
So you got Bradbury, Adoree Jackson, Christian Angulo, and Darnell Holmes. Nobody's getting past that secondary.
With Leonard Williams fortifying that defensive line, let me tell you, their defense is probably going to be one of the best in the NFC. Now, you have Sterling Shepard, what's old boy Golden Tate get hurt last year, in and out of the lineup. He didn't have any real receivers. Evan Ingram's hands are made of horse hooves. He can't catch anything.
That's why you got Kyle Rudolph.
Well, okay, so great. I'll take old Kyle Rudolph, and he's not even that old, but I would take historically reliable Kyle Rudolph over young Evan Ingram right now. And then if you run a 2 tight end set, if Evan Ingram decides to wake up and play to his potential, great. You have 2 good, reliable tight ends that only help Daniel Jones on top of Saquon Barkley, who can be one of the best running backs in the league.
Hey guys,
it's on Daniel Jones.
New York Giants acquired a Tyreek Hill. I mean, their Tyreek Hill and Kadarius Toney. Look for him to have some packages and some special sets because Kadarius is explosive. He's supposed to be their Tyreek Hill, and I think he gets 6 touchdowns as a rookie.
Oh, that'd be nice. I'm excited for the Giants. So we'll see.
I like it. All right. So
I got a good friend who's a Detroit Lions fan, and he tells me, guys, that expect great things from Kenny Golladay. He was so sad to see him leave with Stafford, obviously.
Southside Chicago, stand up.
Yeah, Kenny Golladay. That's going to help. That's going to be that team's number 1 guy, 100%.
Okay.
And he should be. And the last thing I'll say about the Giants, I'm a really big fan of how Joe Judge likes to fight his coaches. That's awesome. Once I saw that, I want him to succeed. So shout out to Joe Judge.
Okay, let's head to the Windy City in Chicago. Was it a good move or not to name Andy Dalton the starter for Week 1? Because they are on Sunday Night Football and they are playing the Los Angeles Rams.
Good move.
It was a great move. Great move. That team is not ready to support and protect and give the keys to Justin Fields. Has nothing to do with Justin Fields. Has everything to do with the team around him. The worst thing you can do for Justin Fields right now is throw him on that team because that team's not ready. Simply not ready.
You don't have your tackle who's out with back surgery, and you got old-ass Jason Peters that you just signed. You don't have all your weapons in place, and they don't believe in Andy Dalton. Let Andy Dalton get beat up like a punching bag. Week 3, 4, 5, 6, start Justin Fields. Hey, Andy Dalton says this is his team. It's going to be his team to lose.
How you feel, Kenny?
You know what? I talked about this the other night, so I got their first 8 games in front of me. I'm definitely starting Andy Dalton. I will not put him up on primetime TV on the road in LA for his first game against the hungry Rams team that by some people calling them to go to the Super Bowl. Looking at their schedule, if the Bears falter and they got off to a slow start, weeks 4 and 5, they got the Lions at home and the Raiders away. Maybe that's when you see a move if they get off to a slow start. Otherwise, it's Andy Dalton's job until, he either gets hurt or, the Bears start faltering. Because the Bears do have a schedule after week 5. I will say that.
I actually see the Bears starting Fields week 2 because Andy Dalton's going to get hurt week 1.
It's funny if they don't. They're playing the Bengals at home, so it'd be a little revenge game for Andy Dalton.
So you going around to the Bengals. Ooh.
They got the Bengals week 2 at home at Soldier Field.
We like the revenge games. My new guy Mitchell Trubisky just went back to Chicago. Granted, it was preseason and looked like Johnny Unitas out there. So that was a pretty good thing to see. I know it's preseason, but revenge games are always fun. It's fun to see it's fun. They went in there with a little extra juice, and it's always fun to see somebody go back to their old team and hand it to them.
Oh, that's gonna
Darnell,
be we're gonna talk a lot of revenge games this season.
Darnell, Ricky, my apologies. I have to go. Jerm, pleasure meeting you. I know we're working in the future. Kenny,
yes, sir.
Your voice reminds me of an old friend of mine. So You're making me emotional. I miss my old co-host, but guys, thank you for having me.
Go Giants.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
So we have Jamal here. You'll be handling the Buffalo Bills. So why are you looking for this year when it comes to the Bills?
Just building the same thing I was looking forward to when we drafted Josh Allen, just building the team the right way. Not giving up on people, just building on what we did last year. Now, again, the starters played today against Green Bay. Looked great. Josh Allen, 20 for 26, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, and complete control of the offense. Spreading the ball around, not looking too overwhelmed. Again, I understand it's preseason, but from what I saw, I mean, he was second in the league in MVP voting last year. He made giant strides. The only thing that's stopping the Bills is health. And as long as we stay healthy, just build upon what we did last year. That's what I'm looking forward to. Just more progression from this team.
So, any other teams in the AFC East a big threat to them, or is this Buffalo's division?
I mean, it's football, right? Anybody could be a threat. Anybody can surprise you, and of course, your competition is only an injury away. Outside of a debilitating injury to one of our key guys, the only team I can see is probably Miami, just based on their defense and how they've been under. I was just about to call him Todd Bowles. Brian Flores. I'm sorry. But again, with the uncertainty with Tua and how that's working out, their offense, I'm not scared of their offense at all. Granted, they won a bunch of games last year, so you can't really count them out. I just think we're too powerful now. I think now, our defense is getting some guys back. We added Emmanuel Sanders. I just think in our offensive line, we had some guys sit out last year because of COVID, some starters who are back now. And we drafted really well on our defensive line. I don't see anybody that's realistically going to match up with us.
Not even the Patriots.
No, not at all. Cam Newton's their quarterback. There's no way.
Don't even bank on that.
I will.
Don't. And we were talking about players on the hot seat. Cam is one of those. Everybody just kind of like totally blew off the whole. Let's say Cam Newton's going to be the starter. Cam's going to be on the shortest leash possible. Mac Jones is legit. Is legit. Yes, granted, it is preseason, but some of the throws that he's made already in the first 2 preseason games have just been ridiculous.
And you're getting your defense back, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, the boogeymen are back. The boogeymen are back because, again, like you said, we had a lot of people that sat out last year for COVID. But now you got those guys back. They did add a lot of pieces. So if they play right, and I believe we open against Miami week 1, that could probably be the setting stone for the season.
All right, Kenny, what team are you going to be focusing on the most this season?
In the AFC East?
No, anywhere.
What team? I'm sorry, I missed the question.
What team you gonna be focusing on the most this season? I say, what team you gonna focus on the most this season?
I'm looking forward to my Giants. I want to see them, beat up on the Cowboys, who I think are overrated as they are every year. And that we don't know if Dak Prescott. I think there's a little more than what's being said over there with his injury. And Washington's defense is there, but nobody's repeated in the NFC East. It's like a crazy number. It's like the last 10 to 15 years, nobody's repeated as NFC East champions. So, like we all said earlier, I think it could be the Giants division. Ceilings there, 9, 10, maybe 11 if you're really lucky, or it could be a 4 or 5 win season. So, I hope everything falls into place. I love Joe Judge, what he's doing there. I do like the moves Gettleman makes. I think a lot of people criticize the guy, but I do like the moves he makes in the draft, and free agents this year. So he did what he needed to do. Let's put it on the field now. So I'm looking forward to the Giants for sure.
All right.
And then my AFC East team, by the way, would be Buffalo, but I do like Ricky's Patriots as a little sleeper because a lot of their defensive guys sat out last year.
Hey, Ricky actually picked the Buffalo Bills to win the division anyway, so.
I mean, that's to not pick the Bills is simply hating. There's no way that you can look at the Patriots roster and everything that's going on with them. It's obvious now that Tom Brady has won the Tom Brady Bill Belichick legacy power rankings. It was all Tom Brady all along, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it on the first episode I've appeared on ArchRivals. Bill Belichick's not that good of a coach. I'll say it.
I'm gonna see what this year looks like. Now he got his players back now. I'm gonna see how that defense look this year.
I'll say if Mac Jones is the starting quarterback by, let's say, week 4, and they have a successful season after that, then you can kind of knock the Brady thing off a little bit. But you also remember, though, I'll look at it this way. I don't really honestly see Cam Newton starting past week 3.
All I'm saying is, what was Bill Belichick before Tom Brady? And what has he been after Tom Brady? That's all I'm saying. I understand history. I understand what is laid out before me. I understand the titles. I also like to just look at data, and the data is telling me.
But we all know last year was like an uncrazy year last year.
Listen, the goalpost will always move when you want it to move. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that is true. But hey, they lost almost 10 players on defense last year. That's a lot.
Everybody was.
Tom Brady shut up a lot of people last year because everybody said it was Belichick. And what did Brady do? He went and won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. And he's got a chance of doing it again this year.
I give Brady. But before I dismiss Bill Belichick completely, I got to see, now that he got his full defense back, I got to see how this defense looks now.
The only way the Patriots have a chance is if Mac Jones is the quarterback. Cam Newton can't do it. Because guess what? Cam Newton never could do it. So it is what it is. History, like I said earlier in the show, Cam Newton gets more credit for doing less than almost any quarterback I've ever remembered in modern history. One MVP season all of a sudden says, hey, can Cam Newton, that's all we've been asking since then. Can Cam Newton be back to the MVP form? Sorry, folks, time doesn't work backwards. Okay, he has a bunch of 7-9 and an MVP 15-1 smack dab in the middle. It's an outlier. It's a fluke season. It's Dirk Nowitzki's championship title. It's just a fluke. It happened. He was great that year, and people should just let it be that. And that's it.
All right, there you have it. So this is gonna keep going throughout the season. Jermol, he's walking with Buffalo. Kenny's walking with the Giants. Alex Fleming, he covers the Jaguars, and he's a Bucs fan. So we gonna dive around the NFL pretty much throughout this ArchRivals season. So y'all be prepared because Ricky's a Patriot, I'm a Ram, Bearman's a Cowboys. So we're gonna be diving around all around the world. So this is good. I can't wait to look. I can look forward to more episodes with you guys. I know Tuesday, I'm making the college debut for the show. Me and Bearman, we're gonna talk some college football, talk some big games. So,
what time are you doing that, Darnell?
That will be
8:30.
8:30.
So 8:30 Tuesday nights, Saturdays 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. We revive ArchRivals. This is just the beginning. We're gonna have a lot more football conversation. Trust me, with these guys, you're gonna hear football broken down like y'all never heard it broken down before. Okay, Ricky, what you say? ArchRivals is what is ArchRivals?
ArchRivals is fans doing this show for the fans. We will put the spin on it like nobody else's business. Believe me on that.
So that's our time. I want to thank Jermol for coming on while he's at work, as always.
Yep.
Thank you, Kenny, for hopping on.
No problem. Thank you for having
me. For hopping on. It's not the last you're going to hear from these guys because these guys will be back multiple times.
Yes, sir.
So before I let them go, Kenny, go ahead. Tell the people where they can find you at.
K&K Sports Show, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. YouTube, Facebook. We talk all sports, interactive. And Thursdays, 6 p.m. also on YouTube, Facebook. We do a show called Wits and Wagers. We put a little spin on little fun bets in the sports world. And we're going to be piggybacking off of your Tuesday show, Alex. We're having a big college football preview show. Darnell, I'm sorry, on Wednesday evening. So if you're around and want to check it out, we're going to have guests on all night long and talk about the college football season.
And Jamal, where they can find you at?
Yeah, man, you can find me stuff about sports. Now, typically we do a Tuesday at 8, but because of my schedule, it's either a Tuesday or a Wednesday at the Give Us a Shot Network. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram at Stuff About Sports. But yeah, we talk everything, and it's not just analysis. We talk about all the political stuff in sports, the race stuff in sports, and that is me. That is a call, and I have to go. But Stuff About Sports, check me out. Thank you guys for having me. I'll be contacting you offline.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks a lot for everybody that tuned in to watch today on Saturday. My apologies. I have been under the weather since last night, but
yeah, I know. You texted me early and told me.
But I still trooped it. I got the show on the air, so that's always the bonus. Till Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. This is Arch Rivals. Thanks to Kenny. Thanks to Alex. Thanks to Jamal. D is my co-host. Catch you guys later.
Yep. Deuces.